This horror story is the story of Joe, shared with us tonight. Joe used to laugh at ghost stories, not because he was arrogant, but because his whole life had been built on logic. He'd studied abroad, earned degrees grounded in science, and built a career in real estate, where everything was numbers, contracts, and calculations. He trusted what he could see, touch, or measure. Anything outside that, he filed it under superstition without a second thought. To him, ghosts weren't terrifying. They were just impossible. That certainty started to crack the day he went to Chiang Mai. He had gone up north to close a land deal in a district outside the city. The meeting dragged on into the evening, back and forth over plots, documents, signatures. By the time everything was in order, his client suggested they continue the next morning. So Joe needed a place to stay. He pulled out his phone, searched around, and found a 3-star hotel nearby. When he arrived, he was pleasantly surprised. The whole place was done in beautiful Lana style, warm wooden tones, carved details, soft yellow lights, and everywhere there were paintings. Along the corridors, on the staircase walls inside the rooms, every surface seemed to hold a painting. Landscapes of northern Thailand, temples, rice fields, old city scenes, portraits. It felt less like a hotel and more like a gallery. Joe loved it. He ran his fingers lightly along one frame as he walked to his room, admiring the brushwork. Whoever painted all this is good, he thought. He even told himself that if the deal went well tomorrow, he'd ask the staff who the artist was and maybe buy a piece. The next morning, the land sale went perfectly. Papers signed, money transferred, profit locked in. He felt on top of the world. Around midday, he went back to the hotel to check out, but before leaving, he stopped at the front desk. He pointed at one of the paintings in the lobby. "Who painted these?" The receptionist smiled and said the artist was a local painter who had been hired to decorate the entire hotel. She added that he lived in the next district over. Joe didn't even hesitate. "Can you arrange a car to take me to his place?" he asked. A short drive later, Joe stood in front of a wooden house that had been turned into a private gallery. From the outside, it looked like an older northern Thai house. Wooden walls, sloping roof, a small porch. But inside, every inch was art. Walls, doors, cabinets, even the refrigerator, all painted. Colors and shapes everywhere. Carefully controlled chaos. Every piece had a small price tag. Joe walked slowly through the house, taking it all in. The artist, a man a little older than him, paint on his hands, calm eyes, followed at a respectful distance, answering questions when Joe asked, but mostly letting him wander. Then Joe saw it. In the deepest corner of the gallery, almost tucked away, stood a painting that didn't look like the others. It showed a woman, bare from the waist up, her back turned. Her torso twisted slightly, just enough so that her face was visible in profile. In her left hand, she held a vase. A thin, sheer cloth draped over her hair and down one shoulder. The style was different, older somehow, more intimate. The colors were slightly muted, but the figure had depth, weight, life. Joe couldn't look away. As he studied the painting, he had that strange feeling, like the room had gone quiet around him, like time had slowed a bit. "I want this one," he said finally, turning to the artist. The artist looked at him for a moment, expression unreadable. "You're sure?" he asked. It was an odd question. Joe laughed lightly. "Yeah, why?" The artist didn't answer that. He simply nodded slowly and said, "All right." The price tag said about $80. Joe decided to take that painting, plus 4 others he liked. While Joe counted the money, the artist said something that stuck in his mind later. "I'm not going to spend this $80, he said quietly. "I'll just keep it aside." Joe looked up confused. "Why?" The artist just smiled a little, that vague, half-strange smile some creative people have, and shrugged. Joe chalked it up to artistic personality and didn't push. He wrapped the paintings carefully, loaded them into his car, and drove back to Bangkok. Joe lived alone in a condo. Recently divorced, financially comfortable, but emotionally drifting. The condo was a classic single-guy place, not filthy, but definitely not tidy. Clothes in a chair, bed never properly made, dishes sometimes left in the sink. When he got home, he carried the 5 paintings inside and leaned them gently against one wall. He planned to hang them later when he had time. It had been a long day. He showered, lay down, and fell asleep almost instantly. The next day was busy. Meetings, calls, driving around the city. He didn't get back to the condo until around 9 p.m. The moment he opened the door, he froze. The condo was spotless. The normally rumpled bedspread was pulled tight and smooth, like a hotel bed.